Good day, hello, welcome. For everyone that doesn't know me yet, my name is Marlene Meyer. I am originally from South Africa, but I've been living in the Netherlands for about 23 years now, 24. And I am an artist, I'm a designer, and I design a collection for a company called Studio Light, which is a company that has been in the market for about 45 years, and a craft company, and they bring to you all these lovely products. And my collection, the Art by Marlene collection, is something that I design. All my designs are handmade, so I draw everything myself, and that is what everything is based on. So today is already day 11 of the Art by Marlene 2024 craft calendar. So when you receive the calendar, I'm just going to grab it to the side here. This is the craft calendar, and you open a drawer, the box is in there, the tin box, that is your first day's gift, that is day number 1. And then inside of there you will find all these cute little envelopes with every day a gift. Last year we had the same system, and it was a stencil advent calendar, and this year it is, and the little box said, I'm just going to grab it to the side here. If you can still find it, it's still available out there. Let's see, a stencil a day keeps the doctor away, so it's exactly the same size as the other tin. So you can build a collection. Also, the boxes where this came in, they are also, you can decorate them yourselves for in your collection. It makes for great storage systems, and you can also buy them individually, just white, and you can decorate them for your storage system. So it's brilliant, and also great workshops to do. So you can try that. So let's go on to day 11 without further ado, and let's go through the little calendar like always. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. So if you haven't watched the lives the last couple of days, you will know that I've been a bit under the weather, so you'll maybe still hear it in my voice a bit, but it is really feeling a lot better already. Day 7, this is day 8, day 9, and yesterday is day 10, this one. And after that we will do today, and that'll be our day 11. Good morning, Veronica, Christine. My order with 2 old advent calendars will come in today. Oh, great, Christine. Great to hear that. And you can still, last year I had lives, a daily live as well. So you can find them in the group. They're not on YouTube, but you can find them in the group. If you go up to the featured section, the videos are still there. So this is today's little present. So I'm going to just keep it in my hand, so that way you can see it better. We've got our little houses. Or you can change it to the other direction. And that is this way. So this is what we're going to work with today. Let's see what we're going to do. Now, first things first, grab the gesso. Where would I be without a bit of gesso? And I'm going to just put this to the side. And let's start gessoing the page. So I think what I want to do is a scene of houses coming down to the side. And I might have that as a skyline. So if I come up to there and then let's see, I'm going to just do a corner of this one. just a thin layer. I've got a wet brush, which is not that handy. You should always actually use a dry brush when doing gesso. You can see I'm not being very precious about this because I'm going to fix that later. I'm not worrying about that part. And I might actually just cover this with a very thin layer. Very thin. It means that I still want to see my background. And I'm actually going to just dry brush it over that. So my paper will have more tooth. So it's easier to use markers and pencils and everything on the paper, and it'll become vibrant. But I can always get that through. It'll just give it a nice effect. So every day I show you a bit of a different way to work with the products. One day I will cover everything completely. The next day I will do this. I just try and give you ideas. So when you use your products, and if you want to use this in your own teachings and videos, I don't mind it, but just be mindful of, if you use my team or my work and to use it in your own things, remember just to say, I saw this from this and this person. That is always just a bit of a etiquette between crafters usually and artists, and that's just the way that it works, and it makes that no one turns funny faces. Hi Veronica, Agnieszka, Toki, Yosin. Not a busy morning out there, I can see. There's not a lot of people watching already, but that's okay because I'm putting it on YouTube afterwards. A lot of more people are watching it later on and in the group as well. We can see by the results that there are loads of people that is watching. So let's just give this a quick dry. And when I say you can teach, you have to, of course, teach your own class, but using the technique that I have. You can't do exactly the same thing. That's not the way it works. So, okay, already almost dry. So let's see what we're going to do. So first of all, I want to find my stencil again. And I'm going to have a look at how I'm going to work that stencil. So, and later coming down. So I think I'm going to start over there. And I'm just going to wing it because I don't want to just have the bottom half of my page covered. So I have my palette to the side, some pitch, which is pitch black, my black paint. I'm going to grab a little artist sponge. Now I don't have my water bucket clean, so what I'll have to do is I'll have to spray it with water. Usually I will just put it into a bowl of water and just 2 or 3 times just take the water in, because you can't use them just the way that they are. They need to be activated, just pushing all the extra moisture out of there. You can see when you buy the artist sponges from me, they're not the same as the makeup sponges, it's a different density, but you can see they're like this. You pull them off one another and then they become much softer once you have wet them. Agnieszka, I'm just want to reading Agnieszka's comment. I have a question. Do you know when to stop creating a page? I can keep adding every day. When going back to look at my page, I start adding things again. I feel like it's never done. Do you have tips to deal with this? If you feel it is not done yet, you can keep on adding. And if it's not pretty, it's just not finished yet. Yeah, that's the only thing I say. And sometimes we go too far and it's not that pretty as we thought that it was. And sometimes we don't dare to go all the way in one go. So maybe you're one of those people that you don't dare to go do all of it in one go. So maybe sometimes it's better to go back the next day. So let's just make sure, oh, my brush was a bit too wet there. I can already see that, but okay. That is just the way it is. So if I go over these lines in a while, that is not a problem because I can just put my stencil on top of there again to correct all of the lines because I'm working with black. So that is not a problem whatsoever. Oops. Can you see what I'm doing there? Don't do that. I will fix it, but be more clever than me. Let's just grab a baby wipe. I rather stencil slow. If you see me, I'm like a snail when stenciling. I just do it in little layers and make sure that I don't get puddles of paint under my stencil. See, that helps. Just a baby white. Because I've got the gesso on the page, I don't damage my page. So I'm going to put that on there, and then I'll have to come in and just maybe I'm going to stencil this little house. Before you, what did Kim say now? Coco Chanel said, before you leave the house, look in the mirror and take at least one thing off. Sometimes I remind myself of this with crafting. Well, Kim, I'm usually the type that puts one thing back on. I'm more of the technique, more is more, rather than less is more. Let's see. Then put that little house there again. But I'm not going to put the heart on top of that. I'm just going to put the house. And you can see I flipped it over. So now I've got the window on the other side. Because here I had the stencil like that, and now I flipped it over. So I've got the house on the other side. Can you see that? Kim is full of good ideas. Hey, Kimmy. Hey, Tammy. Hi, how you doing? Let's see. And then put this building in front of there. like that. So we've got this type of skyline going. And now let's see what we're going to do over this part. I'm just going to do like a flat building. I'm going to turn the stencil like this. Like a high rise. And I can just add stripes on my own accord later on. And just have one of these, another one of these peek through behind there. So I'm just trying to build a skyline. Now let's see what else can we do. I kind of want to put the dots there. And maybe put one more house over this part. I love this page where you look like you turned the stencil on its side. Yes, I did. Sometimes a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. So, that is my skyline for now. So I'm going to put my stencil to the side. And now I'm going to start adding to my houses. So I might just want to make sure that I have all my lines in, my black lines, the way I want them to. And we're going to make it look like a drawing rather than anything else. We wanted to something like that, I think. And then here we have the lines. Just gonna go on with these lines. Yeah, that is about the house that we have created. Oh, you should have said that. Oh. And so this is what I have for the moment. So I don't know if I'm going to leave this in the background or not at the moment. What I want to do first is I want to add color to the foreground. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my watercolors. My original layer of watercolors, I'm going to plot out my colors with watercolor. So, and because I've used my marker, I will probably end up having things bleed into one another, but I can fix that later on with my acrylic paint. Not a problem. Don't be scared of following what you want to do. Make sure, if you're scared of things bleeding out, just heat set everything. That always rather helps. And now we go into, I have to grab clean water. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. I did go this morning and I did clean the water and everything, but then I ended up working before I came back, or before I started, so I then ended up messing up the water again. So I'm just going to use the number 6 of my watercolor paint brushes, and let's grab some color. So I'm going to add a little pink house. I'm just plotting out my colors. It's just easier to see if your colors are working the way you want them to with the watercolors, instead of going in with your acrylics and then thinking, oh gosh, no, that doesn't really work for me. Pink door in there, and maybe another little baby pink building over there. So the watercolors that I'm using, for those that don't follow every day, is the SLESWC02. That's the code, and it's the Art by Marlene Studio Light collaboration watercolors. So let's go in with it. Purple. Purple used to be a color that I never used. And then about a year ago, lilac suddenly became my favorite color. I know, really weird. And now I kind of like purple. Stranger things has happened. Or have happened. Let's see. I'm just going to grab a bit of that darker red down there. And then I'm going to grab the brighter red towards the top. And that way I'm trying to build my colors and make it look like a lot of fun for myself, especially for myself, because sometimes I can have the attention span of a fly. So if I don't like or enjoy doing something, I can't do it. I physically can't. It kills my soul. I mean, I can remember even at school, I used to be really into arts and crafts and things. If I had something like that to do, I would love it. But anything else wouldn't be my thing. I wasn't a naughty child, I think, but I wasn't one that could just focus because you should. I'm really happy that I actually grew up in South Africa and went to school there, because you've got a really very good school system and a very strict school system. You still manage to do well at school because the school just made sure you did. And that I am really thankful for. Not all countries have good school systems, and I don't know what the school system are like in South Africa now. I mean, I haven't lived there for many, many years, and I don't go there often. I've just been, and it was the first time in 13 years that I visited South Africa. I loved it. Because my family is not there anymore, I don't often go. But I went now for work and it was fabulous. So you can see me just plotting out colors, just putting colors where I think that they should be. And maybe I will think something else later. We'll figure that out when we get there. Oh, the private schools are still fantastic. So let's just put that in. No, I'm not going to go with that. I think I want to get some of that vivid green. Just in there, and maybe a bit of yellow. You can see I really want a colorful skyline. You can already see, because this part has that as a background, the yellow is much less vivid on there than on the white. So you can imagine if I didn't do a bit of gesso under there, it would have been much less even. Let's put color inside there. Okay, now I've put yellow inside of the window, so it means it's probably going to be a night scene, because I've just decided that. So I will have to add black to the top parts. I'm just being careful at the borders here. There we are. And because I don't have white in the background here, I've got that colorful flower actually in the background. It'll give you an atmospheric skyline here. Just in order to protect my other pages. Can you see, you'll get that coming through on the other side. So, there we are. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Mandy. It was great meeting you guys too. There we are. So I just have to blow my nose, sorry. Oh. To the side. Okay, now we have to dry this. This is otherwise much too wet, far too wet. Okie dokie, so we've got that so far. Now before I go any further, I actually want to do something here, like a moon, but it's going to be in layers, so I'll have to just first go in with my finger. And because I've got the watercolors underneath it, the white will mix with the watercolors. That's why I have to do it in layers. So I'll have to do one layer, I'll have to dry it, and the acrylic paint will actually then start building up and without mixing with the background. See, everything is full of paint. Can you see that? So if ever you wonder how if something is mixing with the underlayers, build it up in layers. So let's do that. So I'm going to just leave that for now, but I needed that accent point for what I'm going to do later on. I think so far I think I'm going to do that later on. So I think I might go in with some pencils at the moment. So I'm going to go in and just add pencils, and I'm doing this before I'm adding the watercolor, so I know how much I want to add. So I'm going to just put my pencils to the side. And you can see what I'm doing here. I really want to do a bit of layering. I want to layer my colors on. So I've got that layer of watercolors, which is my base layer. I've got some Posca crayon pastels as well. I'm going to just add some of that in. This is a bit like, not the Neocolor 2, but the Neocolor 1. It's like a normal crayon, but without it having that wax bloom, which a normal crayon will have. So I'm going to grab that lighter blue, and it's almost got like a purpley undertone. More of a lavender undertone. And then I'm going to go towards a more purpley color towards the bottom. You can see you're building up the colors, you're playing around. So let's see, this is the Faber-Castell. So you can see how you're building that up. And then, let's see, I'm going to put it on a little greenish roof on the top there. I don't know why I'm choosing green. I don't actually like it, but I think it's going to brighten it up a bit. Sometimes you just need to brighten things up, so you need a bit of a contrasting color. And you can see I kind of like layering colors. So you will have here the orange and the yellow and the greens, and then I'll go in with the turquoise, and I'll actually cover a few of those colors again with that. So I use my watercolor as a base, and that is my, it makes it easy to work on top of. Let's put that orange in the windows. I know it doesn't make any sense, and actually, who cares? I don't. I kind of like it just the way that I like it. And you can do yours, I'll do mine, and you do yours the way you want to. Let's put that blue in that windows again, so you've got your oranges coming back and you've got your blues coming back, so it kind of jumps off against one another. So the pencil that I'm using now is a nice soft one. I can't even, it's the Aqua, and it's a Holbein pencil. And it doesn't really want to take the colors, so let me just see what I have here. No, that's not going to work either. I'll just have to have a lighter one. Maybe the Aqua. That isn't light enough either. So let's go for my white. And I can choose for the Holbein soft white. That usually goes in over things. And if that really doesn't work, I always have my Posca pastel. And even works with less. The best one is actually this one. It's almost like a China marker. For those of you that don't know, it's a China marker. The Holbein soft white is a pencil. It's not a soft white color, but it's a very soft pencil which releases a lot of color. So if you want to work on and you really want white, that really helps. So now I have to add color to this. Let's see, what will we do there? There's so many colors to choose from. That's the problem. I'm kind of liking the blues. So I think that I'll go in with a really dark blue. It is a great pencil, I know, Kim. It's I can't actually go without it. Most of the time I use markers, but the odd by MARLENE ones, but I just want to add a bit more. And you see there, where I didn't gesso my washi tape or stencil tape at the back, it's really difficult for the watercolors to stick to your back, or to your washi tape. So let's just go in here with this is an iris, like a really dark purple. We have to give this a bit of footing. And then go to this, or towards the side. I will go into with that more turquoisey color. And here I will go over to that turquoisey color too. And now we have to go into this building. What we're going to do with this building. So I've got this bricky red color. And I think I'm going to actually... It's not a brown, it's still a red. And this is nice pencils to draw with if you have problems like I had carpal tunnel, and I used to love working with these beforehand, or the Caran d'Ache ones, because they're thicker, so it's just holding much easier in your hands. So we'll just give it a pop of color with the neons. You can do this with my neon watercolors. For those that they're not available for sale, if maybe there's a few stores left with them, but I had beautiful neon watercolors. That's why I'm not working with them anymore, because I don't want to make people happy with things that I can't sell to them. It's not available. And I'm going to end this to the yellow to the side. So that is nice and a bright skyline. Now my gesso is a normal gesso, but my watercolors work over my normal gesso, so that's not a problem. It's just a normal gesso. But it depends on what type of gesso you're using, if it's got enough grit to hold your watercolors, but mine does. I can never tell you how other products hold up with other products. I just know how my products work together with one another. If that makes sense to you. My pleasure. So, we've got that, and so that is quite a scene already. So let's put all these pencil things aside for 1 second. I think the watercolors can be put aside too, for the moment, for the time being. And now I really want to have really nice splatters of colors in my skyline. I really want that. So what I'm going to do is just add that to my page, and then I need a piece of paper. I'll just now grab another piece of paper here, a little extra piece. So I'm just going to hold it when I'm splattering. I just don't want to get it all over the place. So I'm going to go for neon pink, and I'm going to mix it with the lace because I want a bit more coverage. I'm going to go with Happy. There's a hair in there. I'm going to mix it with a bit of Wow to give it punch. I'm going to go in with Glow, and I'm going to mix a bit of Mermaid in with it. And I'm going to just start with those colors first. So I'm going to go in with a finer brush, just because you want really, really, really tiny spatters here. You don't want... So getting a bit on there. Okay, get them off the buildings, the splitters. And then going in here. I'm just keeping my fingers over my little moon there. There we are, and I just want to make sure I've got everything in the corners filled in. And then I'm going to go in with the yellows. More water needed. And I'm doing as fine as possible. And whenever I get some paint on my, I'm just going to try and rub it away because I don't really want it on there. Maybe turn it to the side a bit. There we are, and just try and removing it from the buildings if there's too much. A single spatter, I couldn't really care, but I don't want it to look like I've spattered all over my buildings. Oops, that's what I said. And now for that blue and green together. Which is giving you a very, very vibrant green color. See me wiping that away. Let's put some of that on there. Oops. And then there's the fine splatter that sometimes really doesn't want to do what I would, just doesn't do what I want to do it. And I don't mind it creating little stripes because that looks like it's, what if, shooting stars. So I kind of like that. So I think that is it for the splattering. Now I'm not happy with everything as of yet. There's a few little places that I think need some enhancement, so maybe I can put some of that yellow. So this is also, it's not finished in one go. I go in with different mediums and layers, so it is a bit of mixed media. And because you do it in different layers, you kind of keep that effect that it is a mixed media, and you get the layers. And it makes it look interesting. And then go in with that greeny color. Also, just to make sure that you have repeated all of the colors that you have in your sky, comes back somewhere in your pages. It makes it look more interesting. So let's give it a quick dry before we go on. Okie dokie, so let's see. So I've got my black pencil over here, and I have a purple one. Just want to make sure I've got that purple. Just like that fresher kind of look. I just want to add that over here too. And then go in with my black everywhere that I think it is really needed. And there's a few places that I think, like this is too busy for me. It's doing my head in. So I'm going to just remove that. And over here I need that black stripes to become really black. And I'm really going over my page with my marker to make sure that everything that is black is really black. And if it's too fine, I can go in with a pen, or I can go in with a pencil. These stripes on the top of the roof, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. No one cares. I mean, when I drew it, I just did the same thing. It isn't supposed to be anything specific. So you can imagine anything to be anything you want it to be. That just needs to be dry, because otherwise I'm going to stamp myself with the colour. What you can do is, if, for example, you want to go in and that you can do white on top of black with that stenciling over there. you can always do that. But I'm just gonna grab my new marker. Yeah, this is the new one. I can't use the old one in there. I have to shake the ink to the bottom of the thing always. And let's get this in. There we are. That way you just make sure it's really contrasting. If you've got the black, it'll give you more contrast and everything will become brighter. Or look brighter. It won't become brighter, but because of the contrast in color. And you can see I'm just going over the lines that's already there. And it's not like I'm drawing these lines. I'm doing it a bit sketchy and a bit painterly. Otherwise it will end up looking really, really, really weird. But do that another time. Let's add a bit of white to all of these. To all the cornishing. Are you all asleep by now? Or everyone has just gone home? So there we are. That is the page that we have. So now we have to put the day on. So we're on day 11. Oops, I have to pull that out. We don't need those anymore. So I'm just taking my envelope apart. And I want to get out the day 11. Oops, like that. So let's grab day. And 11. Oops, I just did that. I'm going to put, I don't know where yet, day 11 there. Still here, speechless. Heidi. Oh, Karen says it's her favorite so far. Thanks, Karen. There we are. So that's day 11. So just making sure where I'm going to put that, because I don't know if I'm liking it there. maybe just in the, there, it's, yeah, better, I think. It just falls away a bit more in the corner over here. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to throw away this tube of paint, of glue. That one is empty. Thanks, everyone. So I hope to see all of your cities that you've built with the stencil by the end of the day. Wishful thinking. So I'm not going to add any ribbon to my things. That's not going to work at the moment because we'll first need to finish the pages, otherwise it's just going to be too much. But that is the page. I'm going to keep it closer to camera. I'm thinking that I might add some glitter to there. Oh, I have to, sorry, I'll just have to. I'm just using the diamond glitter. And that might just, I'll have to get it off my fingers though. And once that's dry, you will see the glitter, and hopefully it'll show up on camera. But usually it doesn't. It has to dry first. Well, maybe it shows up on camera when I take a photo and post it. Thank you for joining me, guys. Until the next time. Bye-bye.